Well, but people are told too often that they're special.
Yeah.
You know, and like this one guy, and I hope this person doesn't watch the vid because they may end up still working on the project. I don't want them to get pissed off, but who knows? Anyway, this one person did some.
But
They were
fuck
making
them.
their own.
Right? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'd say, yeah, but fuck them. No,
Yeah. Anyway, they were working on their own game that, to be honest, it doesn't look like it'll ever be complete. You know what I mean? Like you know how people are with these projects. They'll say, "Oh yeah, it'll sound so good," and they kind of peter out.
Sure.
And like he's obviously coding it himself, and everything's really buggy. Like I can sense that he's too proud to just look at what someone else has done.
Yeah.
So like it's like a platformer, but it's just buggy as fuck and glitchy as hell. But he basically he's an animator who says, okay, well I can just make the rest of the game myself and make my own game. But you know, he's kind of flagging where the other tasks are concerned, right?
Right.
And I said to him, look, the animations from your demo are okay. I'd like to buy them from you, right? And he says, oh, those. Oh, I could never part with those. Those are just for that game for when it gets released. And I'm like, it's never gonna get released.
Yeah, but of course you can't say that in the conversation.
This project is already dying unless you haven't noticed. I mean, he says, "Oh, but I'll make you new animations." And I'm like, well, how the fuck long will that take? And what do you care if I use the walk animation from your game in another game?
Right.
Who gives a shit? So I've learned to just buy existing resources and not try to talk to people, because the average person has no sense. They have no business sense. They don't know how to negotiate. They think, oh, this person approached me and wanted something. I must be like, you know, hot shit in a champagne glass at this point. It's like, no, you were one of 500 people who could do this. I just happened to call your name first. If you turn out to be an asshole, I'll call the second person, and then the third, and then the fourth, and until I finally give up, because you're all a bunch of vain, delusional assholes. You know what I mean?
Right. You are welcome anytime. It is only human to commit a sin.
I'm such a shitty person to everybody on Skype.
Yeah.
Like, my entire list of people on Skype, I just go through and insult them like once a month and then just log off. I'll send Coctopus a message. Be like, how's your Fox News research going, you hyper liberal douchebag? And he's like, go fuck yourself. You know, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you too. And then we don't speak for a month. In Coughlin, I'm always just like, hey, I hope you get raped by a gang of clowns. And he's like, good morning. And you know, it's just shit like that. That's all Skype is. There's probably like 4 people in my contacts list that I have like genuine conversation with, you being among them, and that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't...
A couple of them are dead. How do you like that shit? How do you delete dead people from your Skype contacts? I want to Google that. That should be a funny search.
Just like any other. Just block them.
DPR Jones is still alive, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just haven't fucking seen him on Skype in I don't know how long.
I think he might be on his Magic Sandwich show account a lot.
Oh. Which I don't even know if I've added that one. Seems like I would have. He's invited me to that show, but like...
Oh, you should go on and just kick the shit out of all these liberal circle jerk douche.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all bad. It's just...
Well, who is on... Alright, first of all, they still do Magic Sandwich, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like a new show now. And it's... Who else is on the show with DPR?
I believe it's Aaron, Concordance, someone called Hogtie Champ, who, by the way, I was really flattered and a little embarrassed because he remembered me from my old account, and he was like, oh, it's Atheismo, wow. And I was like, wow, that's the first time that is ever happened, and probably the last time, too.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
I'm not going to say anything bad about him, because...
Well, you guys had a pretty fucking good show. The Gin and Tonic show was good. It was really fucking well done and interesting and funny a lot of times.
They're still doing it, but I don't watch it.
Oh, they still do it. What's his name? The other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like that dude. He seemed like a good guy and everything.
Yeah, I would have. I mean, I just got so tired of that whole subject matter.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll fucking suck the life out of you after a while,
It
dude.
is because you vacillate back and forth between actually caring about the people and it's like having a relative who cuts themselves. It's like how long can you watch people just hurt themselves?
Right, exactly. And yeah,
And all the while you're being bombarded by people saying, "Oh yeah, you probably want this. You want Muslims to get hurt. You're happy." I mean, no.
no, like, yeah, I mean, and that kind of shit, see, that kind of shit just infuriates me.
Yeah.
So you just think I'm ethically fucking bankrupt because I don't accept that you're right?
Yeah.
That's such a morbid position, dude. Fuck you.
And I was gonna say this earlier when I was smashing the pews in the in-game church.
Yeah.
Every time I hear about a mosque or a church getting blown up, I just think, why?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like the stereotype of non-religious people is that, oh, that's what you want to do with all of them. But no, especially not with other people in them. You know?
Right. No, fuck no.
It's like
yeah.
whatever the system stands for, the people in there are minding their own business.
Sure. Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, I don't have to agree with everything that goes on there to
Right.
not want to see, just a random bombing.
Right, exactly.
Some old lady selling lemon squares.
Right, I would
know?
prefer, like, not a lot of bodies be associated with this bullshit. That's, like, the overall consensus, I think,
Yeah.
is, like, yeah, if there were less bodies, I think I would be happier. That's part of the issue I'm taking here, is that this whole thing about God is elevated to a certain level that nobody else can get to. And as a result, bad shit can go down. Right? If you think that you have the keys to, like, the secret of life and shit, why wouldn't you blow something up? Right? Like, I mean, if you really are that fucking convinced that you're right and that you have to do something about it, like you're on some sort of weird quest. Like, I mean, if you're fucking convinced, that's going to happen sooner or later. So.
Yeah. Well, I see when you were saying that, you said, God's been elevated to such a high place. I immediately knew what a religious person would say. They say, well, because he's God.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you're God? You think you're better than God? You think you're smarter than God?
Yes.
He has that authority, and you can't. And it's like, God damn it! Look, if you're gonna search my house, you better have both a badge and a warrant. But religious people don't understand that. They think, okay, they don't need to demonstrate the authority before they invoke the authority.
Right. Exactly.
Right? They don't have to show their badge.
And what's interesting though is that they don't. They
Yeah.
actually don't. And that's the trouble. That's the fucking problem, is that they actually don't have to demonstrate anything. They just have to invoke the deity and say, well, that's it. That's why. That's who and that's why. Have fun with that. Fucking enjoy it. If you disagree, you're wrong. That's one of my favorite little things. Your opinion is wrong. It's floating around. But yeah, I always enjoyed that one. But, it's that kind of shit. And that's why the idea of God is more dangerous than than a shitty idea, say, that Hitler might have had floating around in his fucking head. Right? Sooner or later, shitty ideas, like, it takes a while. Like, people kick and scream and, push back. But bad ideas go away. But bad ideas based on supernatural authority, not so much.
Yeah.
Because they have that, like you said, there is no warrant. There is no authority verified. There's just invoked, made up, right straight from your colon authority.
Yeah.
It's just total bullshit.
Yeah. Our God told us to drive on the left side of the road. Well, our God told us to always drive on the right. Well, if either of us disobeys, we're gonna, burn in a lake of fire.
Yeah,
well, we're both fucked then. We'll see you. We're basically gonna be like Sam the sheepdog and Ralph the wolf for the next 1,000 years.
I always loved the little Family Guy joke that Seth did with the people in biblical times. Is like, I like you and have no reason not to. And the guy goes, I like you and have no reason not to. Then that third guy comes and goes, did you guys hear about the magical baby born in Bethlehem? And they just take out swords and just start brutally stabbing each other. I was like, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the magical baby born in Bethlehem? Fucking Seth is amazing. He's one of my favorite people. Like, I love that guy. He's fucking hilarious.
He doesn't puss out on the. I mean, he doesn't like the South Park creators. What is their deal? I mean, they're certainly never afraid to make waves. So I can't let them off the hook saying, well, maybe they just don't.
I think they really just like people. I really think that's it, and I don't think it's not. It doesn't strike me as a pandering thing. Like I really don't think they want to upset people who they feel like aren't going out of their way to fuck with other people. So if they think that, all right, well, we're really going to piss off a bunch of, just hypothetically here, a bunch of Catholics who would never try to shut down our cartoon or shit on someone's free speech or try to prevent somebody from living. Like that's how they view some people. It's like, so let's not shit on them because they're really, you know, pound for pound, they're fucking harmless. They're not doing any damage. So let's not shit on them. And I think they just like people and they want to respect people. But they don't really think it through when they say shit like, you know, like what I'd mentioned before about the atheism thing. Like, all right, we get it. It's, you know, everybody's... No. But it goes beyond that. Like, I respect that about them. I think it's pretty cool. It's a good way to... It's a nice fucking way to be. But in the broader scheme of things, it's like, no. There's some damage to be done here. And it's being done here. And someone should point it out. And they're shitty ideas, and we should try to move towards something that makes a bit more fucking sense collectively. Like, that just is what we should be doing, right? So I'm less concerned about whose feelings get hurt in the process. I've got, like, if I have to weigh the kind of society in the world and the kind of people, the standard of people that I want around me in the world that my son's going to fucking grow up in is a little bit more important to me than whose feelings get hurt in the process. If some shit gets knocked over on the way to what's important and what matters. Honestly, it sucks. I pity people who have to deal with that because I can't imagine what it's like to really believe and have something shit on that you've really devoted yourself to. I've never been in that situation. It kind of has to suck. But again, it's collateral damage as far as I'm concerned. Like tough shit. Right?
Yeah.
And there's bigger and more important shit at stake here than how you feel about your bullshit getting tipped over. Not interested. Pity you, feel bad, slightly, but it's not of importance. You know, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? And, you know, I understand like I said before, the sympathy and that sort of thing. And they just like people. You know, and they don't want to be assholes, which is great. You know, but, you know, sometimes you can take that a bit too far, I guess.
Hopefully I finally proceed to the next area. I've been loitering around here for so long. I must have been really unsure of myself.
Just fucking somebody cast a spell on you that just filled you with insecurity about the size of your penis, and you just hide out in this church all fucking day.
With a giant claymore to compensate.
Right, yeah, exactly. You know what they say about a man with a claymore. Just fucking compensating for lack of something else. always enjoyed that. Always enjoyed that stereotype because I always thought like if I had an uncommonly large dick, I'd go out and get the biggest truck I could find. You know, so I could have both. I could just have an enormous truck and an enormous penis. But since I don't, I'll just stick with the sedan. That'll work. What I do is I use the reverse psychology. I get like a compact car, so everybody thinks it hangs down and like I'm tucking it into my sock and shit. Into my ankle sock.
Like the guy from The Simpsons, where Nelson laughs at him, and he's this giant 7-foot-tall guy in this tiny little beetle.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic. Do you find something amusing about my appearance while driving in my automobile? Fucking hits him with that, and he's like, yeah.
This was the largest automobile I could afford. Do you think I deserve to be mocked? Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Did you enjoy it if people laughed at you?
And he marches about it. Look, everyone. It's the boy that laughs at everyone. Let's all laugh at him. And he's just intimidated by this uncommonly tall George Mirasan style motherfucker that's harassing him now. It's great. I like fucking with kids. Like I really like scaring the shit out of like kids who are arrogant.
Oh yeah.
They have this invincibility complex. Like the other day, I was driving up the street and like this guy, I don't know, he's probably like 15 or so, and he just kind of does this thing where he slaps the back of my car. Like it's real gentle, but it's like I want you to know that I think I'm tough.
Yeah.
See, that's such a bad. So what I do is, and I've got tinted windows in this car I'm driving, right? and there's just you can't see shit on the inside of my car.
Had a bit of a scare.
So I'm fucking driving, and I just stop right in the fucking middle of the street, and I just park. I put the fucking car in park, and I just parked, and I'm watching him in the rear view. I'm like, this is interesting. Let's see what he does. So they stand there, and they're just looking like, what's this?
Well,
Like, what do we do now?
what are you going
I don't
to
fucking
do?
know. And they just like suddenly both. They just suddenly like fucking take off. I was like, that was hilarious. And I just drive on. Like, I'm not gonna do shit, but I'm gonna fuck with you a little bit and let you know. You need to be a little scared, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You don't at 15. You don't need to feel tough because you're not.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
You're just fucking with people who aren't gonna go to jail for hurting a kid.
Right. And it's really bizarre to me. Like, don't you know where you are? Like, you are in the South. Like,
Yeah.
everyone here is armed. Like, why are you fucking touching cars? Are you nuts? Like,
Yeah.
every other house, there's a no trespassing sign and a big fucking fence with barbed wire around it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking crazy? And the answer is no. I'm an idiot. But yeah, you know, I'm 15, so I'm retarded.
Yeah, I hate kids.
Oh yeah, totally. Me too. Fucking absolutely do.
I have your reward.
I told my son that I'm going to give him what I call the. I said after your 13th birthday,
Grateful to you.
I'm going to give you what I call the brain damage test, and I'm going to administer this test once a year to see if the brain damage is kicked in yet. Because as an adolescent, especially a teenager, you're generally just a retard and really dangerous and destructive, and you know. And he always laughs, and it's kind of like a running joke between us. But I tell him I'm going to hand you a spoon. Or any item that you don't necessarily need at the moment,
What is it?
right? I'm just going to hand it to you as if you need it.
Let's not.
And then I'm going to wait and I'm going to sort of take notes on your reaction. So if I hand you a spoon and you look at it and you get really confused, then I'm going to be like, all right, he's an idiot now, so I got to be more careful. I can't leave him. I can't let him operate the stove. Because if you just immediately go, I don't need this, why are you handing me this? Then you're still lucid and aware and you're not a moron yet. And you might make it through your adolescence without succumbing to adolescent brain damage. That would be great. But we'll see. Like, yeah, it's kind of just like a running fucking joke. But every once in a while, I'll hand him a spoon just to fuck with him. You know, he'll just be like, just give it back. You know. But yeah, just generally, just kids around that age suck.
Yeah.
Which I included myself in that. Like, I sucked when I was that age. I was just awful. I was just an awful person. So yeah.
Dun, dun,
Why
dun.
does he have that tiny shield? Like he is insanely intimidating. And he has this tiny little shield. He doesn't need that.
That's what we were talking about before. He doesn't have anything to compensate for.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's like, man.
He has an
The
axe
I-
at the end of his tail.
The
Giant.
last guy I mutilated, and he just happened to have this piece of shit, so now I have it. It's for fun.
That axe at the end of his tail reminds me of a scene from Game of Thrones. This guy, he hires a bunch of... Anyway, this guy who recruits these wildlings to fight in this war.
Mhm.
They're really poorly equipped, even though they're fierce fighters.
Right.
And this guy, the armorer, is complaining. He's like, yeah, you know, are we really going to waste all this good steel on these savages? This one leader, what's his name? He wanted 2 double-headed axes. Why would anyone need 2 double-headed axes? And then Tyrion, the guy who hires him, says, look, Shagga really likes axes. And I thought, you really need Dave Chappelle stoned in that scene playing Tyrion. You'd be like, nigga likes axes, what you gonna do?
Yeah. Which, by the way, like first of all, I want to just comment on this really quick. The ladders in this game seem so fucking out of place.
Yeah.
Like I don't. What is up with that? They just didn't want to
They just wanted them clearly
design
marked.
stairs, or.
Clearly marked so that you'd see them.
Well, I mean, generally, just the ladder itself, the metal ladder.
Yeah.
I don't feel like a lot of structures had metal ladders like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so far as the appearance of the game, that's the only thing that I found to be unappealing. The rest of it looks fucking great.